Hey, this is MassX with a brand new Final Fantasy Ever Crisis video, and yes, Final Fantasy, that little known IP, has released a brand new gacha, and of course, unless you've been sleeping under a rock, you probably already know about this. I made a conscious choice to wait and play the game for a little while, a few weeks, before I did any sort of overview to see where this game was going to go. I was all in from the get-go. I knew I was going to be playing this whenever I had spare time. So let's talk about the game. Well, first off, you're going to have story mode, 3 different types. You've got Final Fantasy VII, you've got Crisis Core, as well as Final Fantasy VII, The First Soldier. These are your 3 main storylines that you have to start with the game. The story modes are entertaining. If you've played them before, you will appreciate being able to relive those stories. The graphics are solid, and quite honestly, it's a very good enveloping game on a mobile device. It's very surprising how well this is translating over, and I gotta say I'm very impressed. That is one of the major pros of this. If you're a fan of the IP, you're really going to enjoy this, graphically, story-wise. Now again, this game is a grinder, and I want to preface that from the get-go. And we will talk about some of the cons with this game in a little while. But I did want to bring that up, is there is a lot of grinding in this game for you to proceed. And when you start playing this game, you have a couple different options. You can reroll. It's not horribly difficult. You just want to make sure you are using an account that you know you don't care about if you have to start over again. I'm not big on rerolling on this game, quite honestly. It's weapon-based. So unless you absolutely have a horrific draw, they give you plenty of tickets, and they've given lots to give you to start with. So if you are just going to be a grinder and want to enjoy the game, just get in and play it. And we'll talk about it a little bit more, but the game really guides you, okay? On your front screen, and I'll show you this in a second once this battle ends, it will literally tell you what to do. And I cannot say enough, follow the screen prompts. It really does lead you through this game quite well, and once you get to a point that you can't proceed any further, there are limitless options in this game that is almost infuriating at times for the amount of stuff that you can do. So just follow through if you're starting a new account, follow the prompts, and we will go ahead and get into all that, because that is one of my biggest gripes in this game, that this game has one of the best AI systems I've played in a while. The auto system is quite good, but there is no looping, so you're going to have to use a third-party clicker if you want to not sit there and retry 15, 20, 30 times with the particular area you're on in front of you, which can get tedious at times. But as you can see at the bottom of this, you can see it's right now telling me story, The First Soldier, clear, FF7, FS Chapter 4, main, Section 1, EP5. So that's it, and it will continue to tell you from the time you start this game until there's nothing left for you to do, I'm assuming. So when you do start this game, really do follow that. But basically, the basis of this game is going to be weapons. And that is something I must say is a little daunting at first. They had an initial banner, went into another banner, and now a third banner already. Now, again, the characters you get, it is the weapons that you will have to pull for. So let me tell you the positives about that. Well, there's no PvP or anything to really make you have to go after any particular weapon. Keep that in mind. You can go at your own pace at this game, and honestly, that's a good thing. Now, if you want to burn through this game as fast as possible and have all the options open to you, of course, then you're going to be looking at the different types of weapons and what weapons you think will work best for certain areas of the game with your character. But again, they have not been shy from dropping banners. We're 3 banners in already with a game that's not even 3 weeks old. So yeah, but that's where they're going to make their money, so that's where they're going to be pushing it. But right now they're doing this great 5 million download celebration where you get 10 free draws a day, which is helpful. And I've got to say, 2 out of the 3 days I've pulled on, I've gotten a 5-star. So they are definitely not nerfing the pull ratios on this. That's one thing I gotta say. When you do pull, the ratios have been very good. They use for their pity what's called a stamp system, and those stamps award you certain items that can also include clothing as well as the featured weapon. Now the other thing which has been crazy is the amount of tickets that they give you for draws, and I have not used any of my basic tickets, and I've accumulated quite a bit. And you can get 5 stars on here, as well as if you already have the equipment that you're wanting to use, other levels of those equipment, you will get a certain amount of parts that you can use towards it, so it's not a waste to pull a lesser level. On top of all that, they've already dropped their first event, Beach Festival Fun, with an original story. Again, it's going to be similar gameplay, and you will be going through, and you will also have an exchange shop to get items. And that's another positive I can say about this game. Their exchange shops, both in the event as well as in the normal shop, have been quite really good. They have this guild shop that's available to you, and you can refill it quite a few times through your 24 hours for free. And there are plenty of items that are available to anybody from free to play to spending characters, and there is always one item in there that you can purchase for free. So I got to say, this is one area that you do not want to miss out on, the guild area, because you will get lots of items for decent costs and things that you are going to need. But then let's talk about the good, the bad, and now the ugly, okay? And the amount of content and grinding in this game. You have your story mode, which you're going to need to open up certain areas. You have your solo content. You have your daily quests, which you know you're going to have to do. You're going to have enhancement quests, okay? Which are going to be weapon quests to get items to build up your weapons. Training quests for more experience. Synthesis quests that is going to give you materials for creating your materia, as well as premium quests. And it doesn't stop there. You have summon quests where you can go into and get other higher level characters of the game. As you can see, we've got Ifrit right now that I've been working on. And then on top of that, you have Battle Tower, okay? You have dungeons. You have 2 different types, Criterion and Crisis dungeons. And then you have story quests, which is going to allow you to get memories of certain characters or background, varying on which ones you're doing. So, yes, that is the thing. This game is so jam-packed, at times it can become overwhelming. You can get frustrated because you need something and you have to go start looking for where it's at. The game is pretty good for directing you in those areas, but again, it does get daunting at times. I found myself, I stepped back from the game for a day and a half, just did what I had to, bare minimums, came back and decided, okay, I'm going to slow my pace down because there's just too much going on in this game. I've liked the game. I think they've done a very good job. It has been glitchy at times, but they've been very on top of that and been doing lots of updates. I am concerned about the rate of the banners. I am concerned that this is going to be incredibly lucrative for them, so they're going to continue to do that, which it may well be, given that it's Final Fantasy. So you really got to decide how you want to approach this game. If you're a very, very big time fan of Final Fantasy and you would like to relive the events of Final Fantasy VII and have something on a mobile device, I think this game is great, okay? I just think you have to go into it with a sense of understanding of what your level of gameplay you want to do with this, and is it going to be more leisurely, is it going to be more aggressively, or is it going to be on, I'm just going to do what I want to do, and some days I am going to go hog wild and some days I'm not. Because again, that's the one thing that becomes a bit troublesome at times, the amount that you have to do, especially when you're having to worry about equipment enhancements, and then you got to worry about materia. and all the different levels of that and which ones you need and how high you want to stack one. But then you're also having to synthesize materia, as you can see. There's so many levels to this game that you really do. This could be a full-time game, and you could drop other things depending on how aggressively you wanted to play the game. But I do have to say, out of the gate, they've been very generous in what they've given. You have blue and red currency. The red currency, of course, is paid, but you get plenty of the blue, and you can use the blue for most things, which is nice. So they've done that very well. The pack pricing, I believe, for the most part, is fair, and it's quite obvious when something's not worth spending on if you're someone that wants to spend. So with all that in mind, I think it's a solid game, a great outing for Final Fantasy, but I do think they've kind of built way too much in up front and released it. It would have been much nicer to see a little bit of a slower burn, maybe not even this first event for like maybe 4 weeks out, to let people build up their accounts, work on the solo content, work on the co-op content, and then bring in your first event. But again, it is what it is, right? So that's my initial thoughts. I think this is a winner if you're a fan of Final Fantasy. I think you will thoroughly enjoy this. And no, you don't have to spend to enjoy yourself in this game. Just know you're going to have to follow the cues from the game and go from there. And you can enjoy it just as much as anybody else. With that, as always, please like and subscribe. It helps a lot. Have a great day.